Sometimes people think of forestry as just about trees, just foresters just figure out which trees to cut and produce wood and so on. But what was needed was strong science-based professional forestry. In order to have the professional foresters out there that could do that, they knew that they needed a school of forestry. Lawrence Walkup was the president of the university when the School of Forestry was formed. Walkup really wanted to get forestry on campus here, but it was more than just his love of forestry. It was also by having a professional school at Arizona State College, it then would meet the criteria to be a university. So that was a little bit of the politics behind it. Another person that I'd say was very important in founding the School of Forestry, John Babbitt. Babbitt was a real mover and shaker. He, as a state senator, had really wanted to have a School of Forestry here. Chuck Miner, the founding dean, was familiar with Arizona and forestry in Arizona. He had actually worked out here as a young forester and just loved Arizona. So when he came through, he would stop in and talk with the university administration and say, you really ought to get a School of Forestry here. When he found them very receptive to it, he immediately said, if you're going to establish a School of Forestry, I'm your man. And little did he know that they would choose him as dean.
He was fairly strict as far as the students were concerned. They thought he was a tough guy, but he was very sympathetic to the students, and he felt for them as far as their ability to stay in school. The first students that we had were pretty wild and woolly, I would say. We had a lot of tobacco chewing and people with snuff tucked under their lip, spitting in cans in the classroom. When the science building was built over on the east side of campus, Friar Hall was given to the forestry school. And Friar Hall was a strange old science building. There was a dumbwaiter in the building that ran from the basement to the second floor, operated by a rope. The students would ride on it or try and get into a classroom they couldn't get into because the door was locked. The university had some flatbed trucks and things like that, and they would go out to the field in conditions that you would never accept now. We would have these little old pickup trucks with a kind of a bench built down both sides, and you put 8 students in the back of the truck.
It is interesting to look at older photos of our students. Our students from the 1960s were all white males. By the 70s, you would start to see some females sprinkled in. You look at our most recent classes and you notice a change in the student body. We have more Native American students than we had in the past. We have more Hispanic students. So the diversity of our student body has changed over time.
I'd like to talk about a couple of the deans in the School of Forestry. Dave Garrett comes to mind because of this gorgeous building. He was very instrumental in formulating the idea and getting the cooperation of the Forest Service to find funding for the building. Another dean was David Patton, our recent dean. So we've had several outstanding leaders in the School of Forestry. I have to also say we have outstanding administrative staff. Most important one in my mind was Gisela McCormick. She served under 3 deans, which is really remarkable when you think about it because every dean has a different style of management.
The new forestry building. It's beautiful, lots of wood and art, but from a research standpoint and a teaching standpoint, there's more space, lots of laboratory space, room for everybody to have an office, room for graduate students to have offices. The School of Forestry and the Rocky Mountain Research Station have a great relationship. We are co-located in the same building, which is very helpful for us as well as students, both graduate and undergraduate. In 2000, we had an expansion of the school forest from being 4,000 acres to 50,000 acres. This is now called the Centennial Forest, and it's really the university's forest, so it's a pretty exciting place to work and have as for outdoor education and research.
Throughout the 50 years, every president has seen the importance of this small, dynamic unit on campus. and has put forth their resources to keep it viable.
If there's one subdiscipline within forestry that we're known for, it's probably the restoration field. A lot of the work that's been done by folks like Dr. Wally Covington, Dr. Pete Foulet, has really inspired on-the-ground changes in how we approach the management of our forests. We've also done some really important work in the areas of forest entomology, forest health, conservation biology, and wildlife ecology. I see a very bright future for the School of Forestry. Forests as a whole are not going away. Forests, if anything, are going to become more and more important to the people of the United States, the people of the world. The issues in general are just changing all the time, and foresters need to be able to keep up with those changes. Who knows what the issue will be 25 years from now, but I can guarantee you forests will be important 25 years, 50 years from now. And as long as that's the case, I think there's a good future for the School of Forestry.